Part 58. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 571. Zibao had already neatly climbed onto the Kong along Shang Kun's legs, reached out to grab the toffee on the plate, and grabbed it with both hands. However, his fat hand was smaller and he could only grab 2 or 3 in one hand. Dropped in hand. Sugar, mine, he said to Shang Kun. Yang Fenying pursed her lips and smiled, and Shang Kun said, "Yes, it's Zibao's candy, no one will compete with you." "Yeah," Zibao nodded his little head and sat down next to the Kong table. Like a little meat dumpling, he grabbed a toffee and handed it to Yang Fenying. He squeaked for a while, "Mine, mine." Feng Qingxiu had already gone out. Yang Fenying didn't understand what he meant and asked, "Is it for me?" Zibao grabbed the candy in her hand and said angrily, "Mine." Shang Kun has been in contact with Zibao a lot, and as smart as he is, he quickly understood what Zibao meant. "Zibao, do you want us to help you peel off the candy wrappers?" Zibao's eyes lit up, "Yeah." Shang Kun peeled off the candy wrapper for him. He immediately grabbed the toffee and stuffed it into his mouth. His big eyes instantly narrowed into crescent moons. As soon as Jing Zibao interrupted, the atmosphere between the two became less tense. Shang Kun took the lead in telling Yang Fenying his age, hobbies, salary allowances, and parents in his hometown. "My identity has destined me to have only a country and no home in my life. Before that, both my parents died, and I have my brother, who is 10 years older than me, has already started a family and is working as a farmer in his hometown. I occasionally send them some wages and food stamps to supplement their living expenses. If Comrade Yang Fenying thinks I am suitable, most of my salary will be taken from now on. It's up to you to take charge." Handing over wages, according to Lu Zhang, best reflects a man's ability to support his family and makes his revolutionary partner feel more secure. Yang Fenying also told Shang Kun her details. "I am also a soldier, although I am just an art soldier. I have my own salary, which is enough for my living expenses. I don't need you to support your family alone. I have been traveling in the army for a long time. I have seen all kinds of soldiers. I understand the importance of the word soldier. I respect your responsibilities and hope you can respect my work. I told Comrade Qingxiu that I cannot be a good partner because there are many border guards. Soldiers need us to use singing and dancing to heal their post-war psychological trauma. Unless the country no longer needs it, I will always stay in the art troupe to do my little part." Shang Kun raised his thumb, and there was no need to say anything else. Anyway, Feng Qingxiu had only been outside for 10 minutes. Shang Kun came out and said with a smile, "Sister-in-law, for asking you to worry about it, I will go back and report to the army. If it is approved, we will get married immediately." Feng Qingxiu was stunned. "So fast? Are you sure?" After just meeting and talking for more than 10 minutes, the two of them were sure that the other person was their significant other? "Oh, now we can't say it's the other half. Even the title husband is rare. It has to be called a revolutionary partner, love has to be called a revolutionary feeling, and marriage has to be called a revolutionary family." Confirmed, Shang Kun said. "It is estimated that no one is more suitable for him than Yang Fenying. Their thoughts, their work, and their family plans are all in perfect harmony. Missing the person in front of him, Shang Kun is worried that he will never meet a lesbian who can match Yang Fenying's intelligence and intelligence in his life. To strike first is to be strong, but to strike later is to suffer disaster. Once you decide, of course you have to take action to avoid long nights and endless dreams." Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 572. The marriage report of Shang Kun and Yang Fenying was approved, which almost made Qiao Desheng, Gao Yizhu, Han Ping, Sang Hong, and others envious to death. Qiao Desheng gave up and had already identified Fang Ning and was waiting for Fang Ning's consideration. The following soldiers were all from Feng Qingxiu knew about Yang Fengying's requirements for choosing a mate, so she could only stare blankly. Who said she didn't meet the requirements? Sister-in-law, please ask other lesbians in the art troupe about their spouse selection requirements. Maybe I will meet the requirements, Sang Hong said impatiently when he happened to encounter Feng Qingxiu taking Zibao out for a walk. Feng Qingxiu said helplessly, Xiao Sang, you have to give me time. I have asked my friends to find out who of them is interested in finding a revolutionary partner. After hearing this, Sang Hong patted his chest and said, that's good, that's good. Sister-in-law, I don't have any requirements, just that you are willing to live a good life with me. Aren't there a few lesbians who have been punished? Please help me find out. If any of them forgets the past and becomes a revolutionary partner with me wholeheartedly, I will never mention the past in my life. Good prostitutes are popular in the Northwest, not to mention the female soldiers of the art troupe who are well established and popular. The so-called unhealthy style is not a problem in Sang Hong's eyes. Doesn't he also secretly want to marry a wife? Feng Qingxiu was stunned for a moment, then said, I have you, Xiao Sang. Okay, I'll ask you later. The female soldiers who were punished were at a low point in their lives. Although Sang Hong's idea was a little bit advantageous, for the female soldiers who were ridiculed, how could it not be a life-saving straw? Before she could ask Fang Ning, Yang Fengying, or Zhang Xiaoyu to help her inquire, Fang Ning came to find her. I agree to meet Qiao Desheng on the condition that like comrade Shang Kun and Fengying, we say hello first and then meet each other, and we can't do the ridiculous and fatal things like before. Battle Commander Qiao has learned a lesson and feels extremely guilty. He will never be so reckless again. Feng Qingxiu can vouch for Qiao Desheng. She has asked Zhao Yang and Guo Xiuying. Qiao Desheng is a man who dares to do what he does and has good character. Nothing wrong, but she was curious about Fang Ning's change. Why are you suddenly willing to see him? Fang Ning said helplessly, Captain Bai had a conversation with the unmarried female soldiers in our regiment yesterday. He said that the army attaches great importance to the single issue of soldiers and asked if we would accept the arrangement of the army. She didn't say anything next, but Feng Qingxiu also understood. Rather than letting the army arrange it and marrying someone who doesn't know the details, it's better to meet someone who knows the details. She didn't know the specific situation of Qiao Desheng, but Feng Qingxiu definitely knew. Okay, Camp Commander Qiao has been waiting for a reply. I will tell him to go in a moment. He will definitely be so happy that he can do some somersaults. Don't say you want to meet, just say that I am your matchmaker and ask if you are willing. If you think it's appropriate to meet, make a report first and then meet. Feng Qingxiu thought for a while and told Fang Ning about Qiao Desheng's family situation so that she could be mentally prepared. Qiao Desheng's family conditions are quite good, unexpectedly good. Although he is not a big brother, his father is also an older generation of revolutionary soldiers who serve in the capital. He joined the army when he was young and has not lived in the capital for too long, so no one knows about it. Fang Ning said calmly, I don't care about family conditions, as long as the person satisfies me. The most important thing is never external things, but people. Good character and responsibility are better than anything else. It's chapter 10. It's gone tonight. I have to update it. God, forget it. I need to go to bed early today and recuperate my energy. I will update it normally tomorrow and I can't get stuck any longer. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 573. Even though he was not as good as Shang Kun, Qiao Desheng's movements were more than twice as fast as his. He greeted Feng Qingxiu the same day as the political commissar and arranged for him to meet Fang Ning. Feng Qingxiu was speechless for a while. She looked at the time on her watch and only half an hour had passed since she told Qiao Desheng Fang Ning's reply. "Are you too anxious?" As if he could see what Feng Qingxiu was thinking, Qiao Desheng scratched the back of his head and said with a smile, "Sister-in-law, if you miss this opportunity, don't miss it." Comrade Fang Ning relaxed. "Of course I will seize the opportunity. If she suddenly doesn't want to see her, well, what should I do? I haven't apologized to her yet. Many soldiers are now reporting to me that they want to get a wife, so I dare not delay. Are the female soldiers in the art troupe porridge? Don't be too humanistic." Qiao Desheng immediately said, describe, sister-in-law, that's what I mean. There are few female soldiers in the art troupe, and there are countless more bachelors in the camp. They are all envious of the good luck of Division Commander Su, Chief of Staff, and others. There are more men than women. When everyone wants to get a wife, will those who fail to get a wife cause trouble? Feng Qingxiu was very worried. It is said that women are very cruel, but men are also very cruel. If you can't get a wife, but someone else lives and flies with your wife, it's easy to develop emotional problems and affect your daily training. The senior generals in the army have considered this problem, but they have no choice. There are more men than women. Where are they going to find suitable lesbians to solve the bachelor problem in the army? The climate and environment in the plateau area are more severe than those in the northwest. The fact that many people are breathless after arriving is enough to deter ordinary people. We can only take our time, first solve the single problem of some soldiers, and then declare to the country and recruit some willing female soldiers or female students from all over the country. They were more worried about the emotional changes of the soldiers below than Feng Qingxiu. Qiao Desheng and Fang Ning, like Shang Kun and Yang Fengying, decided to go back and report within a few minutes of meeting. Fang Ning holds Zibao. Yes, Zibao is now a useful tool for couples to resolve awkward situations on blind dates. When Qiao Desheng and Fang Ning meet, Fang Ning has to leave Zibao in front of her. Feng Qingxiu is helpless and funny. "Where is Zibao?" He hugged the beauty's neck happily, with candy in his mouth. We can no longer ask him to eat sweets every day. What if his teeth are damaged after eating them? Feng Qingxiu made up her mind and said to Qiao Desheng and Fang Ning, "Since you have decided, then do it as soon as possible. Although I introduced you to meet, I know that there are many brothers who are hoping that you will not see eye to eye, that is, waiting for the blind date to fail, and then asking her to introduce him to Fang Ning. I'll report right away." Qiao Desheng secretly hated those guys who were waiting to take advantage of the situation. To let him know that there were soldiers in his camp, he had to train them for a period of time. Fang Ning said to Feng Qingxiu, "I quietly asked a few female soldiers in the regiment what they meant. Those female soldiers who were punished are always excluded and ridiculed. Before I came out, there were two. They told me privately that they don't want to be arranged by the army, because it is difficult for them to understand the candidates assigned by the army and they can't decide anything. So please let me tell you, please introduce them to revolutionary partners who know their roots and have upright character and no bad hobbies. The important thing is that if you are older than them, you can't be more than 10 years old." Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 574. They don't have Bai Shui's backer, and Bai Shui, who does have a backer, has to obey the order and marry Su Junlin. What's more, they have no power, are punished and have a bad reputation, and are isolated. Not everyone has the courage to face an old man with chicken skin and gray hair after marriage, even if that old man is powerful and the world looks up to him. Jinzuzu and Du Xiaotao have no other wish, that is, to find a revolutionary partner who will not care about their past. They are also willing to advance and retreat wholeheartedly with their revolutionary comrades. There is nothing wrong with their character, they have been together for several years, I understand. Their family backgrounds are all from Miaohong. Jinzuzu's father is a secretary of their county committee, and Du Xiaotao's father is a deputy commander of the capital military region. Fang Ning said, Du Xiaotao is in love with a male soldier from the art troupe. As a young man, it is inevitable to exchange love letters in private to express your feelings. After all, you can't get along alone in the troupe, and you can't find a chance to say anything you want, so I just write it in the letter. The two did not go through the formal process publicly because the man was unwilling, saying that he did not want people to talk about Du Xiaotao's family background. After the incident, the man blamed everything on Du Xiaotao. Using her father's identity to pester him, she had to reply. If he didn't reply, Du Xiaotao would threaten him to make the matter public and ask her father to expel him from the art troupe. Speaking of this, Fang Ning's face was full of disgust. After performing together in the art troupe for so many years, why didn't she see the despicableness of the other party? It was really shameless. He was obviously the one who pursued Du Xiaotao first. Anyone who was well informed knew this and did not reveal it. So what if all the responsibility is put on Du Xiaotao? Didn't he also receive the punishment, and at the same time he lost Du Xiaotao, and the gain outweighed the loss? Feng Qingxiu had no idea that the two female soldiers had such good backgrounds. Thinking that Sanghong and Hanping, who begged her, were ordinary farmers, she told Fang Ning truthfully, needless to say, they are both very good characters. The family background is not as good as that of Comrade Jinzuzu and Comrade Du Xiaotao. You have agreed with them in advance that if you want to see me, say hello to Political Commissar Zheng and arrange a meeting with them. But they have said that they will not care about anything in the past. I don't care about their punishment, just live a down-to-earth life from now on. Fang Ning nodded and said, what's the use of having a good family background? If you have a good family background but a bad character, it won't do the same. If you don't care about the punishment of Jinzuzu and Du Xiaotao for their current bad behavior, you can see that they are 100 times better than Li Tailin. Li Tailin is Du Xiaotao's love partner. A good name, but a despicable character. What's going on with Jinzuzu? I have to make it clear to those brothers in advance, Feng Qingxiu asked. Things between men and women cannot be concealed at all. Otherwise, when the truth is known after marriage, estrangement will easily occur, which will then affect revolutionary feelings. Jinzuzu, Fang Ning thought for a moment and whispered, Jinzuzu's situation is more difficult than Du Xiaotao's. Although Du Xiaotao and Li Tailin exchanged love letters, they were basically confessions, and Jinzuzu's letters the content was more explicit. The other party was Mr. Lin, who taught us singing and was quite famous. He was the one who pursued Jinzuzu. Jinzuzu was only 15 years old at the time. He told Jinzuzu that he had nothing in common with his lack of talent. Yan's wife divorced and then became a revolutionary partner with Jinzuzu. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 575. Feng Qingxiu frowned, cheating. Third party? This is the thing she hates the most in her life. Can Jinzuzu's character be trusted? Fang Ning seemed to see what she was thinking, and said seriously, don't worry, if I can't trust my character, I won't come here to spread this word. I also have to be responsible for what I say and do. Think about it, Jinzuzu was only 15 years old at the time, and she had just graduated from elementary school and joined the army. Didn't students always take the teacher's words seriously? She just listened to whatever Mr. Lin said. Simply don't understand right and wrong. Over the years, Jinzuzu has gradually grown up, not because Mr. Lin has never divorced, but because she understands her mistake. In the letter she has not yet sent, she said that she wants to marry Lin. Make a clean break, sir. Jinzuzu has a sweet appearance and a gentle personality, but she is a little naive. However, being naive does not mean that she has no brains. She realized her mistakes and was determined to correct them. She had written several breakup letters to Mr. Lin. Mr. Lin did not agree to break up, so she received those love letters. In the love letters, Mr. Lin confessed to her in various ways, praised her, and said that losing her was like a fish losing water. Even so, it did not change Jin Zuzu's determination to break up. Her last letter was to tell Mr. Lin that whether he agreed or not, the two of them were done. Feng Qingxiu nodded slightly. In this era of limited information, everyone would become a third party when they were young and ignorant. If they knew how to repent when they were older, then there would still be something worthy of forgiveness. I am afraid that I would not be able to do so. The third person is ashamed, but feels proud. Fang Ning added, I see, Mr. Lin's character is no less despicable than that of Li Tailin. Even if he is extremely talented, he can't cover up his despicableness of instigating an ignorant girl. Moreover, the content of the letter he wrote to Jin Zuzu was particularly explicit. The most unsightly ones were destroyed on the spot by Jin Zuzu, and the remaining few letters contained the content of trying to save Jin Zuzu. Otherwise, even if Jin Zuzu died now, he would be very lucky that he didn't come here with the group to offer condolences. Otherwise, the army would not let him go. The only good thing is that although Jin Zuzu has been secretly dating him for several years, he has always refused Mr. Lin's unreasonable demands and is still innocent. Feng Qingxiu pondered for a moment and looked hesitant. As for Jin Zuzu's reputation, the fewer people know about it, the better for her, so as not to spread the word from 10 to 10 and spread it to hundreds, and everyone will know that she will be said to be a person who can't be married to anyone according to common sense. I should explain it clearly to the man when we introduce them to each other, but I am afraid that if the two of them fail to meet, the man will know about Jin Zuzu's past. Du Xiaotao's situation is much better than that of Jin Zuzu. There is no big problem when young people fall in love. Now that they break up, they are no longer a couple, but Jin Zuzu is in a teacher-student relationship, which goes against the current ethics and morals. Especially when the other party has a wife. Fang Ning felt dilemma after hearing this, but she was very happy in her heart. Feng Qingxiu is meticulous and thoughtful, which shows that she has a reliable character. No wonder she helped him so much in the first place. If someone else was the matchmaker for Jin Zuzu, she would not consider what will happen in the future. I'll go back and discuss it with Zuzu and come up with a solution that has the best of both worlds. No matter what, it must be approved by Jin Zuzu. Feng Qingxiu brought back Zibao, who was licking his fingers after eating the candy. Okay, you go back and let them think about it carefully. The days to come are long, and lifelong events cannot be concealed at all, but you must also worry about your own safety. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 576. As early as the two sisters were talking in low voices, Qiao Desheng walked away politely. Based on this, Fang Ning's evaluation of him immediately rose a lot. Qiao Desheng continued his efforts and personally sent him back to the art troupe. He also stopped at the boundary where management stipulated that soldiers were not allowed to enter the living and accommodation area of the art troupe. I will report it when I get back. After hearing Qiao Desheng's serious words, Fang Ning pursed her lips and smiled. I can do the same. Qiao Desheng smiled a little silly. After watching Fang Ning go in, he immediately turned around a few times and trotted back. Many people in the art troupe were paying attention to the matter of Fang Ning and Qiao Desheng. Seeing this scene, Zhang Xiaoyu immediately teased Fang Ning loudly, which earned Fang Ning a big look. She quietly found Jin Zuzu and Du Xiaotao, who were out of tune with everyone and could only do odd jobs, and told them in detail what Feng Qingxiu had talked with him. being punished at the same time. Jinzuzu and Du Xiaotao are now like little animals hugging each other for warmth. Jinzuzu's current situation is very bad, her face is haggard and her expression is gloomy, like a flower that has lost its water and is about to wither. Is there anything that can't be said? Don't everyone know about me? One more person knows, one less person knows. Do you know what the difference is? Before meeting, we must explain everything clearly. Being a soldier is not easy, and we cannot deceive others with sincerity. The military generals who had read the contents of the letter did not tell anyone about it, and Wang Xinru was very strict in his tone, but there were others who saw it. It was the medical soldier who testified with Wang Xinru about checking their belongings. Jinzuzu didn't know her name, but she knew that the rumors about her relationship with Mr. Lin were all from her mouth. Fang Ning held her hand and said, "Don't be sad. The past has passed. There's no point in talking about it. We learn from each other and look forward. Who can say that there won't be spring flowers blooming ahead? Someone, regardless of past grievances, it gives us the opportunity to change our ways, and we must take advantage of it. Not everyone has such an opportunity. Just like me, Xiaoli and Chen Chen, I am not happy when they ask me to find Comrade King Xiu to act as a matchmaker for them. Who said they have bad character? Commander Bai said that it was okay for the unmarried young women in the regiment to have a partner, but for those who didn't, everyone was insecure and afraid that they would be assigned to an old man. You must know that the average age of a single soldier in the army is 38. There are young people, and of course there are very old people, otherwise the average age result of 38 years would not be obtained. With Jinzuzu's consent, Feng Qingxiu went to Sanghong first. She felt that Sanghong was the first among the soldiers to show that he didn't care about the woman's past, so he shouldn't care about Jinzuzu's situation. As she expected, Sanghong immediately smiled from ear to ear, "Sister-in-law, please arrange for us to meet." If there are veterans, even though he begged Lu Zhang and Feng Qingxiu, he never thought that he could really marry a wife. Many veterans have been in the army for more than 10 years and are still single. It would be great if someone is willing to marry them. Are you picky about the capital you get? Besides, which of the unmarried female soldiers in the art troupe is not like a flower? He felt that he had reached a higher level. Jinzuzu had no intention of hiding anything, so Sanghong looked at her favorably. She revealed everything before marriage to show her attitude, which showed that she was a good character. As long as she lived a down-to-earth life, she was better than anything else. If you follow the army's arrangements, the army will definitely give priority to officers, not lower-level soldiers. I want to write a few more chapters before updating, but I'm afraid you're impatient, so I'll update it first. Please vote, a new week has begun. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 577. Sanghong refused to let go of the rare opportunity and had a clear attitude, and he successfully won the beauty's heart. Niu Yubao and Du Xiaotao saw eye to eye, and immediately reported to the superiors, for fear that the army would assign Du Xiaotao to others. They were followed by Yang Fengying and Shangkun, Fang Ning and Xiao Desheng, Jinzuzu and Sanghong, and Feng Qingxiu facilitated the fourth pair of revolutionary couples. Therefore, wherever Feng Qingxiu went, she met a single soldier and heard him say, "Sister-in-law, help me introduce someone to you." How could Feng Qingxiu dare to agree casually if she was not a person who knew everything? In the end, she was so scared that she had to stay at home. As a result, Zibao, who had no place to play, was very angry. He held his gun and shot around the room, making a sound like bullets coming out of his mouth. Feng Qingxiu didn't know how to describe it. After finishing this training session and reporting to his superiors, Lu Zhang, who returned home after a long journey, laughed out loud when he learned the reason. "It seems that you were not idle for a while I was away. Those boys made you worry." Feng Qingxiu couldn't help but laugh and said, This is the first time I know that I have the potential to be a matchmaker. Fortunately, all the couples I introduced became successful. Otherwise, I wouldn't have room to put my face. In fact, she felt quite bad because she didn't know if she had ruined other people's marriages. Xiao Desheng and Shang Kun will not say anything. There are records, but she does not know the situation of Niu Yubao, Sang Hong, and others. Ordinary officers and soldiers will not leave special detailed records to include in the information. If someone's fate is ruined, but, God forgive me, she really didn't mean it, she just wanted to solve the single problem for the soldiers and give the punished female soldiers a way out. Even if it doesn't work out, no one will say anything to you. Revolutionary partners still need to be in love to live together. Lu Zhang didn't take it seriously, but pointed at his son who was pointing a gun at him and said, "What's his attitude? What's his attitude? Hit me." Biu, Zibao gun pointed at his father. Feng Qingxiu scolded, "Zibao, don't point a gun at dad, or dad won't take you to play." She is also troubled, okay. Everyone likes to tease Zibao, instigating him to beat others or pointing a gun at others. Fortunately, he is the only child in the army. If there were other children of the same age, would he point a gun at others or hit others every day? Zibao looked at Lu Zhang steadily, pointed at him and said, "Dad. That's bad. I'm bad." "What do you mean?" Lu Zhang didn't understand. Feng Qingxiu directly put the small round mirror in front of him. "Look at how you look. You have only been away for 7 or 8 days, and you are more than 10 years older. When you set out, didn't I bring you a can of snake oil, anointed it? You didn't apply it?" Lu Zhang wiped his face. "Many people got frostbite, so I wiped the affected areas for them." Then he said with a playful smile, "Honey, even if I get exposed and grow old, you won't want me, right?" Feng Qingxiu gave him a white look, poured water for him to wash his face and apply snake oil on his face. "Are there many people suffering from frostbite? Is it serious? I'll get you some snake oil ointment and deliver it to each camp, so they can rub it so that they don't leave old frostbite and relapse every year," Feng Qingxiu said. He continued, "Bring some of the medicinal oil prepared according to Dr. Wu's prescription and the medicinal oil stored in my space for them to use." The medicinal oil stored in the space is more than enough for herself and her family, but it is far from enough to face the huge number of troops. She is currently carefully identifying the medicinal materials of the medicinal oil. If she can research it, she will prepare more of this medicinal oil in the future. Be prepared for unexpected disasters. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 578. Wife, you are so kind. I am lucky to marry you. Lu Zhang grabbed his wife's hand and confessed affectionately. "Okay, just take a shower and go to sleep. We've been tired for so many days. Tomorrow is their wedding, and we all have to go." "Oh? The wedding will be held tomorrow? Who will get married first?" Feng Qingxiu smiled and said, "They are all getting married. Commander Chen will officiate at noon tomorrow. The 4 couples I introduced, as well as the revolutionary comrades arranged by the army, will all hold their weddings tomorrow." Lu Zhang suddenly realized, it's a collective wedding. Yes. Take a rest now. With a wife and a son, no strong winds on the frontier, no hardships of eating in the wind and dew, and feeling peaceful and happy in his heart, Lu Zhang naturally had a good night's sleep. Unwilling to wake up, he was woken up by a strong smell and couldn't breathe. He tried to open his eyes, and all he could see was Zibao's fat butt. At this moment, Zibao was sitting on his face. "No wonder I almost couldn't breathe. No wonder I smelled such a strong smell of urine. Zibao must have wet the diaper on his butt at night," Lu Zhang thought vaguely, but he had a rest today and didn't think about it for the time being. He stretched out his hand directly pushing Zibao aside. He noticed that his wife was still sleeping soundly, so he closed his eyes and pretended to sleep without opening his mouth to lecture Zibeo. Zibeo rolled to the side, rolled over, climbed back, and continued to sit back in his original position, using his father's face as a bench. This brat! Lu Jiang was almost furious, so he reached out and poked his fat butt. No. Don't. Zibeo was wearing a one-piece cotton pajamas, and his hands and feet were much lighter. He easily waved the hand behind his buttocks away. Then, he let out a long breath, climbed up to Feng Qingxiu and patted her face. Mom, Mom. Feng Qingxiu was woken up by him, but she didn't want to open her eyes. Anyway, his father is here, Feng Qingxiu thought. Seeing that his mother didn't open her eyes, the little fat man became anxious and continued to pat her. Then he stood up and threw himself on Feng Qingxiu with a cry, almost crushing Feng Qingxiu to death. Mom, Mother. Feng Qingxiu had to open her sleepy eyes. Zibeo, why did you wake up so early? Can you sleep with your mother for a while? Smelly, stinky, Zibeo pointed to his butt. Pull daddy. Pull daddy. Pull daddy. Did you poop? Feng Qingxiu suddenly turned over and sat up, her mind clearing up. Lu Jiang was at home, and she put a diaper on Zibeo instead of wearing diapers. Also sitting up with her was Lu Jiang. His face was livid with anger, his hands were trembling, and he pointed at Zibeo and yelled, Lu Zibeo, did you just sit on my face and shit? No wonder he smelled a smell later. Stink. Feng Qingxiu was stunned. It turned out that this kind of thing happened before she woke up. Sitting on Lu Jiang's face and defecating, the thought of this scene made her feel extremely funny. With a pop, Feng Qingxiu couldn't hold it back and laughed unkindly. She leaned back and forth, tears streaming down her face. Zibeo was barefoot and tilted his head, standing on the Kong, with his big innocent eyes open, and his two white and tender fists touched each other. Mom, the white and tender toes curled up. Feng Qingxiu had laughed enough and kicked Lu Jiang's leg. That's your son, what do you have to dislike? Children's urine is treasure, and children's shit is gold. Go and wipe your son's butt. Go out during the day. No more diapers. Lu Jiang pointed at Zibeo, you can do it, you can do it, Lu Zibeo, just wait for me. Resigned to his fate, he got down from the Kong, poured water and took a towel, helped the little ancestor wipe his buttocks, and changed into the clothes for going out today. It's not just about taking off the diaper, it also has to be washed. Once it's clean, it's placed next to the stove to dry. Routine vote seeking. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Back to the 60s, The Struggle Career of a Charmed Wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 579. Zibeo, whose butt was dry, rolled around on the bed. Mom, Mom, he shouted and crawled with a smile, waving his arms, and suddenly landed on Feng Qingxiu, who was lying on the bed and was too lazy to get up. Drink grandma, drink grandma. Mom, drink grandma. Mom doesn't drink grandma, Feng Qingxiu said, but who are you? I don't know you. Zibeo straightened his upper body and pointed at his nose, baby. Then who drinks grandma? Baby. Baby, Zibeo shouted happily, with a cute and chubby face. Feng Qingxiu couldn't help but kiss him several times, and stood up to make milk powder for him. The little guy knelt down on the Kong and stuck out his fat butt. He held the pacifier in his mouth and the bottom of the bottle was pressed against the Kong. He was really lazy, but two little chubby hands grabbed it out of thin air, and Feng Qingxiu, who knew him better, put the gun in his hand, so he held the gun in his hand and drank milk in his mouth, busy and unhurried. Seeing this scene, Lu Jiang, who had dried his diaper and turned around, expressed his conviction. The couple brushed their teeth and washed their faces. Feng Qingxiu put on skincare products and washed her hands. She moved the Kong table to the middle of the heated Kong, took out a basket of 3 fresh steamed dumplings and 2 bowls of grain and soy milk, and greeted Lu Zhang eats. The 3 fresh steamed dumplings are stored in large bamboo baskets. There are many baskets in the space. She puts them in the small steamed bun baskets she usually uses in advance. Zibao was still lying on the Kong carrying them, so he couldn't see her taking things out of thin air. However, although Lu Zhang was used to it, he still exclaimed, "The world is indeed full of wonders. Even gods may not have such magical means." However, the steamed dumplings are really delicious. If you like it, eat more. Feng Qingxiu pursed her lips and smiled, "Let's eat xiao long bao tomorrow. There is a lot of cooked food in the space. Eat it in different ways, which will not make you feel greasy and will last longer. Otherwise, what if you eat steamed dumplings every day and finish them in a year and a half?" She also likes to eat. She likes to eat the 3 fresh steamed dumplings sold in this store the most. Several branches are overcrowded every day. When she prepares supplies, she buys a lot every day. She almost doesn't get scolded to death by the customers. Fortunately, she said hello to the store and paid in advance. I paid a 2/3 deposit and asked them to use a big steamer to make a lot of it for me, and then I would bring it back to the workers to eat. Giving food to the workers was her excuse at the time. Anyway, in the 21st century, neighbors are very indifferent and no one doubts the authenticity. Lu Zhang ate a hearty meal until he hiccuped. Feng Qingxiu scolded, "Just eat enough, why are you holding on? It's not like we don't have enough food at home. I'm used to eating ravenously, and when I feel full, I'm already full." Lu Zhang said this, and received a big eye roll from his lovely wife. He laughed, walked around the room to eat, and returned to the Kong when he felt that he was no longer full. At this time, Zibao had finished drinking the milk powder. He shook the bottle in his hand, looked at it, and handed it to Lu Zhang. "No more," he said, shaking his head. When Lu Zhang came back from washing the bottle, he saw the little guy sitting on the Kong with his legs spread wide. The little sparrow between his legs was clearly visible. He was not ashamed at all. His 2 white and tender little feet were pressed together, and his toes were curled up very flexibly. Open, and so on, and I don't know which point made him smile from ear to ear. Every movement of the little guy is so cute, but sometimes he is too annoying. Lu Zhang was thinking as he lay down on Feng Qingxiu's pillow. This was a big deal. The little fat man crawled over nimbly and pushed his head, Mom's pillow. Back to the 60s, the struggle career of a charmed wife. Author, Ning Xiaobai. Chapter 580. This time, Lu Zhang understood what he meant. He was saying that this was his mother's pillow and he was not allowed to sleep on it himself. There is no other explanation than this. What happened to your mother's pillow? Your mother belongs to me, so of course her pillow is mine. I just want to sleep on your mother's pillow. What can you do to me, you little fat guy? Lu Zhang suddenly turned into a childish child and turned sideways. Facing Zibao, not moving even with the pillow on his head, as if you can do anything to me. Feng Qingxiu shook her head and refused to interfere in the affairs of the father and son. Lu Zhang had even asked Zibao to wait. Zibao suddenly became anxious and blushed. He pushed and pushed, unable to push Lu Zhang, and suddenly crawled back to where he was sitting before, angrily grabbed the gun and pointed it at Lu Jiang's head. He was standing, and his posture with the gun was very standard, bad, biu. You brat, you pointed a gun at Dad again. Lu Zhangchang stretched out his arm and took the gun into his hand. Looking down at his empty hands, and then at the gun in Lu Jiang's hand, Zibao burst into tears, with tears and runny nose running down his face. He turned around and ran to Feng Qingxiu, who was sitting on the other side of the Kong. Gun. Gun. My gun. My gun. Crying so sadly, he did not forget to pull Feng Qingxiu towards Lu Jiang. "You're bad, beat me. Beat me." "Mom can't beat Dad," Feng Qingxiu said. Zibao stopped immediately. "Huh?" Seeing his open mouth, Feng Qingxiu held back her laughter, nodded and said to him, "Yes, Dad is too bad, Mom can't beat him, and can't get the gun back. What should I do?" "Fight," said the little guy who couldn't think of a good plan. "You still have to fight if you can't beat me." "Hit," the little guy was very determined. "Okay, even if we can't beat him, we will fight him. Come on, let's have a mother-son double fight," Feng Qingxiu said as she took the gun back, and the little guy jumped up and down happily. "Gun! Gun! My gun!" Holding the gun, he smiled broadly and pointed at Lu Jiang again with dignity. "Biu biu." Lu Jiang glared, full of fierceness. The little guy nimbly threw himself into Feng Qingxiu's arms, not forgetting to point his finger at Lu Jiang, with an accusing look on his face. "Bad." Feng Qingxiu smiled and said, "Yes, Dad is bad, we don't play with Dad." Uh-huh, Lu Jiang blurted out directly without his wife's scruples. The little guy immediately replied, "Humph." He twisted his head, buried his face in his mother's arms, and arched his head, making Lu Jiang's eyes burn with anger. Okay, you are such a big person, how do you care about a child? Are you a child? If Zibao was sensible, he would not be a child." Feng Qingxiu put Zibao on his side by side. "You two go fight and see who wins in the end." "I don't care. I have to sort out my things and see if there is anything that can be used as a wedding gift." Lu Jiang and Zibao stared at each other and turned their heads outward. "Humph. Exactly the same." Feng Qingxiu gave up and sat on the edge of the Kong, thinking for a long time, but couldn't think of anything suitable to give them. She didn't bring all her belongings over to begin with, so many gifts in a row, who wouldn't doubt it? Moreover, if 15 couples get married together, and if they give gifts to the newlyweds introduced by themselves but not to others, the other people's faces will definitely not look good. Among these people who got married, the highest ranking one was the military chief of staff. The 43-year-old Zhu Xiu was a rough and bold man from the northeast. His partner was Shi Honghong from the art troupe, who was beautiful and young, only 23 years old.